This story involves multiple murders, a Saudi prince, $20 million worth of stolen jewels, and even an Elvis impersonator, which, unlike the diamonds, continues to age terribly. This story really deserves to be told in a big Hollywood budget film, but unfortunately, it's going to be told in a zero budget YouTube video. And the irony of a zero budget video being made about $20 million worth of stolen jewels is not lost on me. So, let's set the scene. The year is 1989, which isn't super significant besides the release of Black Box's Ride on Time. At about the same time, a normal Thai gardener named Kriangkrai Techamong started working at a prince's royal palace. Now this wasn't just any prince, he was actually the son of the king of Saudi Arabia, a man named Prince Abdul ibn Abzid, Prince Faisal, a man named Prince Faisal ibn Abdul Aziz, a man named, his name was Prince Faisal. Now this prince was a real prince, so he had a bunch of money. And the gardener gets an idea. He decides to make a plan in which he will sneak into the palace while the prince is on holiday and steal a bunch of jewels. Among them, a very rare jewel called the blue diamond. And so he does just that. He sneaks into the palace while he's on holiday and stuffs a bunch of jewels into a vacuum cleaner. Talk about cleaning your money. Now, the gardener had stolen some 90 kgs worth of jewels, which is like 80 kgs more than I can bench press. So we're talking about some serious weight here. So, along with the vacuum cleaner, he stashes the jewels in numerous hiding places across the palace, and throughout the months, gradually transports them back to his hiding spot. Keep in mind, the punishment for theft in Saudi Arabia is the removal of somebody's hand. These jewels would literally cost you an arm and a leg. He then packs the jewels in a DHL courier bag and sends them back to Thailand. Along with the package, the gardener also attached a bribe with a letter saying that inside the box was pornography, and he would appreciate it if the border authorities took the bribe and let the box pass through, which they did. Among the jewels was the famed 50-carat blue diamond, which is actually larger than the very well-known, famous Hope diamond. There are actually no photos of the blue diamond currently out there, unless you count the very similarly looking one seen on the Thai Queen. But that's a different diamond that, according to the Saudis, looks exactly the same to the one that was stolen. Once the prince came home from vacation, he realized he was robbed, and it was very easy to figure out who did it. So they contact Thai police, who then go ahead and arrest the gardener. By the time they arrest him, it turns out the gardener has already sold the jewels to a local jeweler. Now, how much did he get for these jewels? I don't have any exact figures, but from what I've heard, it was for a fraction of their actual worth. Which means at least he now knows what it feels like to exchange money at an airport. So they arrest him, track down the jeweler, and recover the jewels. Now this is where stuff actually gets pretty wild. Saudi Arabia sends 3 diplomatic staff as well as a businessman to go and investigate the jewelry theft. Within a very short period of time, 3 of them are publicly gunned down in the street and in their hotel rooms. And the businessman disappears off the face of the earth. A month later, the jewels are returned to Saudi Arabia, minus the blue diamond. After a further investigation, the Saudis realize that 80% of the recovered jewels are actually fake. No one knows what happens to the jewels. Until about a month later, where a bunch of photos are released from a gala that shows police officials' wives wearing jewels that look oddly similar to the ones that were stolen. So Saudi Arabia deports some 250,000 Thai workers, canceling all work visas as well as restricting travel for all Saudi nationals into Thailand. Since the workers were no longer sending money to Thailand, this actually cost the Thai economy over 20 years some $6 billion US. Or if you convert that into their local currency, it actually equals 18 gazillion Thai baht. Trust me, this is an accurate exchange rate. I actually used to run a day trading channel. What's up, you peasants? Welcome to Gavin's Top Trading Tips. Saudi Arabia says they won't ease restrictions until the rest of the jewels are recovered and the murders are solved. Now, the murders were actually more than likely committed by Iranian-backed militant groups. Turns out the Iranians aren't huge fans of the Saudis. Now, the difficult thing here is the police are instructed by the Thai government to double down on their efforts when it comes to recovering the jewels. But more than likely, the Thai police are the ones who stole the jewels from the jeweler and redistributed them amongst themselves. So obviously, very little progress is made. Society wants one thing, and the police want another. Where have I heard that story before? So nothing really happened until 1994. The kid and the wife of the jeweler who the gardener sold the jewels to are kidnapped and ransomed by the police. Keep in mind, this wasn't sanctioned by the government. This was actually independent actors in the police just trying to make some extra cash. But he pays the ransom in cash, and as a little thank you, his wife and kid are killed. Since then, nothing else has really happened. Some police are arrested and then released, along with the officer in charge of extorting the jeweler and murdering his wife and child. But Saudi Arabia is still pretty pissed. In fairness, tensions have eased slightly.
So there's no way in the near future for Saudi Arabia to once again take Thai labor, say, to go back and work in Saudi Arabia like before. That's impossible, right?
The answer is the Thai government should answer that. We are willing to return the relationship.
So, where are the diamonds? Officially, no one actually knows. And odds are, we never will. Unless you are the people in charge of actually finding them. Then all you have to do is look on your wife's neck and, hey presto, they're right there. But what happened to the jewel thief? The guy who kicked off this whole series of events? Well, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison. But after serving 2.5 years, he was released. In 2016, Krian Krai decides to become an ordained monk, choosing the name He Who Is As Strong as a Diamond. And thankfully, unlike the diamonds, he hasn't gone missing. Turns out, the police officer in charge of kidnapping the jeweler's wife and kid did the exact same thing. He became a monk after being released from prison, but not before a part-time stint in prison as an Elvis impersonator. So what does the future look like between Saudi Arabia and Thailand? My guess is the jewels will never actually be returned, because officially, they've never actually been found. Odds are, Thailand will pay the value of the jewels back to Saudi Arabia behind closed doors to prevent any public admission of systemic corruption. This will help open up trade routes and hopefully allow Thais to begin working in Saudi Arabia once again. As for Kreng Krai Techamong, the gardener, he actually left the monk's temple after a few years and is now living with his family again. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't have any ambitions for international jewelry heists. Hopefully, in a few years, everything will return to normal. Besides the diamonds continuing to be missed by the Saudis, like their desert misses the rain.